There we go. Okay, we're going to start in child's pose. So sit back on your heels and stretch yourself out. Really lengthen the spine. If you want to put a little rock into it, you can take some deep breaths and start to tune into the Ujjayi breath. Notice how you feel this morning. How do the hips feel? The low back, the shoulders. Maybe walk the fingertips towards the front of your mat a little more. Really stretch the shoulders. Press the chest down actively. Feel that stretch between the shoulder blades. Maybe a bit across the chest. Take about 3 more breaths here. If you'd like, you could set an intention for your practice. And then we'll inhale ourselves up to tabletop. Move the spine here with some cat-cow. Inhale, drop the belly. Hammock the spine, look up. Exhale, push the ground away, arch your spine, pull your belly in, tuck your chin. Move back and forth here with your breath. Let's do about 3 more full rounds. After those 3 rounds, tuck your toes, lift your hips, come into downward dog, pedal out your heels. Wag your tail, whatever feels good here for your legs. One more deep breath here if you want to settle into that downward dog. Then on your inhale, walk slowly up to meet your hands. Try to push into those hands as long as you can. On the way up, keep your feet hip width apart and hang in ragdoll. Take a little bend in the knees here. Hang over the legs. You can grab opposite elbows above the head. You could sway a little side to side if you like. Could shake your head, yes and no. We'll release the grip with the elbows, heel toe the feet together. Take a soft bend in the knees as you inhale, circle sweep up the arms, moving into sun salutations to start. Exhale, fold, pulling the belly in, tucking the chin, rounding the spine. Inhale, lengthen, chest and gaze forward. Exhale, plant your hands, step or jump back, lower yourself down with control. Take it from your knees if you need to. Inhale up and exhale back. Into downward dog, settle into it. Taking a few breaths here. You want to really lift the hips up as you try to sink the heels. You can keep your knees bent if you need to help get those hips up. Press into the heel of the hand. Shoulders are protracted as you're pushing into the hands and trying to get your chest a little closer to your thighs, perhaps. Take an inhale. Prepare on your exhale. Bend your knees, lift your heels, look forward, and then inhale, walk, step, or hop to the top of your mat and lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up. Look up, stretch, exhale. Fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Pull the belly in. Exhale, plant your hands. Step or jump back. Lower down. Elbows in tight. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale back into downward dog and hold here. It's okay to walk the feet in about an inch or so once you shift yourself back to downward dog. You don't want to hold a plank, but you also don't want to be in just a standing forward fold. Take an inhale. Prepare on your exhale. Inhale forward and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale up to standing, reaching, stretching. Exhale, fold forward. Last sun salutation to warm up here. Move with your breath. Meeting back in downward dog. Take an inhale. Prepare on the exhale. Inhale forward and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale up to standing. Exhale, arms to your side. For our first set of Artichandrasana, we're going to take a modified variation. So separate your feet hip width apart. You'll inhale your arms up, palms facing forward, and hook your thumbs. You still want your arms to be in line with your ears, pulling the arms back as much as you can, keeping your shoulders down away from your ears. Pull your belly in and strengthen your legs. Inhale, lift and lengthen, and then exhale over to the right. So still keeping the arms really active, reaching, trying to straighten them as much as you can. Push that left hip out. Weight is still back towards the heels. And with the feet separated, you might feel a little more stable. Maybe you're able to bend a little further than usual. We're going to hold here for a few more breaths. Keep your belly engaged. Keep your gaze straight ahead. And stay with your breath here. One more breath. Maybe finding more space on your inhale, more depth on your exhale. And then inhale, reach up, lengthen, coming back through center. Exhale, then over to the left. Pushing that right hip out. You should feel a really big stretch along the right side of your body here. Really pushing down into that right heel, lifting through the right side of the body. Keeping shoulders and hips squared to the front of your mat. Trying to flatten yourself out from the side. So you make sure your belly is engaged, holding you in place here. You have a few more breaths. For the last breath, see if you can't go a little deeper. Inhale back up to center. For our back bend, we're going to bring our hands together in prayer at heart center. Really drive down through the feet and strengthen the legs. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your gaze, and then exhale, begin to round back, staying lifted out of the lower back. Look back. Again, with feet separated, you might feel more stable to go back a little deeper than usual. Inhale, slowly come back up, and exhale, fold forward. Let's take our big toes with our two peace fingers. Since our feet are already separated, let's take Padagustasana for this first set. So with your grip, inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold, dropping the head, pinching the elbows in towards the legs to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Again, if you want to shake your head yes or no, well, make sure that it's hanging heavy, no tension there in the neck. Keeping your belly tight, using your grip to really pull, lift through the hips and pull. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, you can heel toe the feet together. And then let's inhale, circle sweep the arms up. Coming into our second set, let's interlace the fingers, release the index fingers. So legs are together here. Unless you want to take that modified version for second set, that's okay. Take another inhale to lift the rib cage up away from the hips. Exhale, squeeze the belly, squeeze the ribs, squeeze it all together, activating the core to hold you in place as you bend to the right. Deep breathing. Arms are very strong here. You're working those upper back muscles, working to correct poor posture. Inhale, come back up, reach, lift, and exhale over to the left. Still bump the right hip out and try to create that big stretch along the right side of the body. And we've got that compression on the left side of the body. Weight back in the heels, flattened out from the side here. Palms glued together. Nice, strong, active arms. Nice, easy breathing. Inhale back up, setting up for your back bend. Look up towards the hands, inhale. Reach up with the arms, lift the chest, and exhale like you're drawing an imaginary line across the ceiling, reaching back for that back wall. Drop your head back. Inhale, slowly rise. And exhale, pull the belly in and fold forward. You can pedal out the heels here if you'd like after that back bend. Loosen up the low back. Then we'll glue our chest to our thighs. So big bend in the knees, reach back and try to scoop up your heels from behind if you need to. Modify and grab your ankles or your calves, but try to get a grip behind the legs. And then inhale, lift the hips, straightening the legs a little. Maybe they straighten all the way, maybe they don't. You want to keep that chest to thigh connection, though, and you want to keep your head heavy. And again, using your grip to pull. Biceps are really working here as you pull with your grip, lift the hips, and breathe. Release your grip. You'll bring your arms out in front of you, interlacing the fingers again, and rise back up with a flat back, little bend in the knees. Exhale, arms down to your side. We'll bring the feet hip width apart again, making sure toes are pointed straight ahead, setting up for Utkatasana. We'll just do one set this morning, but we'll make sure that it's a slightly longer set. Inhale your arms out, glue your fingers together and pull the shoulders back. Strong arms here. Exhale, take your seat. In the first part of this three-part posture, there is a little reach forward as you sink the hips and your weight's back in the heels. You want to make sure that your knees don't splay out or come in. Everything is parallel to the edges of your mat. Your toes and ankles and knees are all in the same line. Sink down a little lower, lift the chest, keep the belly engaged, keep those arms strong. So we're not just working the low body, but our upper arms as well. One more deep breath. On your inhale, slowly rise back up. Come up onto your toes. Try to stack the heels above the toes as much as possible. Now we are keeping shoulders stacked over the hips. As we bend the knees, it's like we're sliding down an imaginary wall. Most importantly are the feet here. So focus on lifting the heels, driving the heels forward, pushing the ankles forward.
Keeping the knees lifted as you sink the hips. One more deep breath. And then inhale, rise back up, drop the heels down, keeping arms strong. Lift the heels just enough so that you can pinch the knees together. Zipper up your thighs, and then slide back down that imaginary wall. If there's any pain in the knees, stop. But if your knees feel okay, you're going to come to a hover over the heels. So you have to allow the heels to lift away from the mat. And you're keeping the knees lower than the hips. So if I placed a ball on your lap, it would roll off. Really squeeze the legs together. Last deep breath. Try to come up with control on your inhale. Really squeeze the legs. And exhale, arms to your side, taking a breath here in mountain pose, bringing the feet back together. Garandasana, eagle. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, the right arm under the left. Cross elbows and wrists, palms touch, thumbs towards you, or modify and grab opposite shoulders. And then you'll sink your hips and shift the weight to the left foot. Inhale, right leg up and over. Crossing the legs, trying to get the foot tucked behind the calf if you can. If not, you're still squeezing the thighs together, pointing the right toes back and towards that standing leg. It's okay if you have to, in order to get that tuck, your knees come off to the side a bit there. But then once you get the foot tucked, you're trying to move everything back to the midline of the body so that we have ankles, knees, elbows, wrists all in one straight line in front of us. Leaning back, shoulders over the hips, sink a little lower, squeeze everything tighter. And then on our inhale, we'll release, reaching up. And exhale, left arm under. Finding those eagle arms or modify with opposite shoulders. And then sink the hips, left leg up and over. Pull the elbows down and broaden the chest. This is a good posture to get rid of that tension in the neck and shoulders. One day, the goal is to have the fingertips below the nose so your gaze is out over the fingertips. Keep the shoulders over the hips, sink a little lower, squeeze everything tight. And inhale to release, right into second set. Exhale, try to relax the arms as you wrap them, right arm under the left. Just take your seat and bring that right leg up and over. No light shining between the thighs. If you're tucking the right toes behind the left calf, you're trying not to have any light between the bottom of the legs either. No light between that ankle and calf connection. Sink down low, squeeze tight, and then on your inhale, release, reach up. Exhale, left arm under. And sit down, left leg over. So we're creating a tourniquet effect in the body here, working on the major joints in the body so that then when we release on that inhale, we flood the body with fresh oxygen. Sink lower, squeeze tighter. And then inhale, release. Exhale, arms to your side. Take a couple breaths here in mountain pose. Take a sip of water if you need to. We're going to move into our balancing postures. So first is standing forehead to knee. You'll shift the weight to your left foot, and you want to make sure you have a nice solid connection under that foot. Your entire heel, just below the big toe, and just below the pinky toe, all has a nice connection to the mat. And then you'll bring your right knee up. Right foot stays flexed. Spine stays long, so chest lifted, belly tight. Trying to keep that knee up as high as you can. And maybe stay here. Maybe this is enough of a challenge to work on balance, work on strength in your standing leg, work on hip flexor strength in that right leg. If you feel solid here and you'd like to go further and find a grip, pull that knee in. Maybe work the hands down, then down the shin, and find a grip under the foot with all 10 fingers. Once you're here, you want to try to lift up and make sure that standing leg stays straight. Then begin to give it a kick into your grip. Totally fine for that upper leg to stay bent. You're still kicking into your grip, keeping your chest lifted, standing leg straight, trying to straighten it, trying to keep your heel in line with your hip so that right leg, once it's straight, is parallel to the floor. Everyone, wherever you're at, keeps the right foot flexed, so toes back towards the face, and the standing leg straight. Once both legs are straight, you can start to bend your elbows and work your way to a forehead to knee connection. Last couple of breaths. And try to release slowly with control. Maybe walk those legs out a little bit. Then we'll shift the weight over to the right foot. Find that solid connection under the right foot. Strengthen that right leg. Bring your left knee up. This first set's long, so you can move into it slowly. Check in, see how you feel with your balance on this side. And then if you did on the other side and you feel stable here, you can work towards that grip, trying to lift back up before kicking out. Eventually straightening the leg. But everyone needs to keep checking in with their breath, standing leg straight, toes, left toes flexed back towards your face. Having all of that activated really helps with balance. Coming into it however you did on the other side, trying to mirror that here. Making sure that knee stays locked, leg straight. Last couple of breaths. And then release. Mountain pose, take a breath. And we'll go into second set. And as you do, you're going to stop wherever you need to. I'm going to walk you all the way through forehead to knee, but stop wherever you need to stop. So shift the weight to your left foot. We're going to work with our breath here. Inhale the right knee up. Exhale yourself forward for your grip. Inhale, take that breath to lift, straighten the leg, and then exhale, kick. If that upper leg is straight, you'll take an inhale to lift, lengthen, exhale, begin to pull the belly in and bend the elbows, round your spine over that front leg. So you'll tuck your chin to your chest, slowly move, gaze shifts to the big toe on the mat, trying for that forehead to knee connection, only if both legs are straight. Don't pull into your low back. Last couple breaths. And release. Other side. Weight in the right foot. Inhale, the left knee up. Again, stop where you need to. Exhale for your grip. Inhale, lift. Exhale, begin to kick. If the leg is straight, inhale, lengthen, pull the belly in. Exhale, begin to bend those elbows. Tuck your chin and round. Keep checking in with the breath, with the standing leg, with the left foot flexed, with the bandhas engaged. There's tons to think about here. It's so much of a mental posture, even more so than a physical one. Last breath. And release. Take a breath. Standing bow. Bring your right elbow in, palm facing up like you're serving a tray of food, and then you'll bend the right knee, just drop that hand back. So we have an outward rotation of the arm, and you're reaching back for the inside of your right ankle. You can modify if you need to and grab the outside of the foot. Drop that right knee down. Inhale, left arm up, lengthen, exhale, kick. Again, first set is long, so just find where you can hold. Thinking about that equal and simultaneous kick and reach. So keeping the chest lifted, big kick, trying to get that heel away from the body. That big kick pulls on the arm, nice stretch in the shoulder. Last couple of breaths. Here's where you can kick harder. See if you can't get that foot to lift higher. And if you're kicking harder, then you're reaching further. And release. Left elbow comes in, palm up towards the ceiling. Drop that hand back for the inside of your left ankle and drop the knee down in line with the right. Inhale your right arm up, palm facing forward. Exhale, begin to kick. That kick will naturally then send you forward a bit. If you're not kicking much, then if you're not able to separate the heel away from you by much, then you want to keep your arm up, palm facing forward. If you're kicking more and that foot is raising higher, your torso is going to come down further, then the palm can face the floor, chin towards that shoulder. Again, equal and simultaneous kick and reach. Creating a back bend here. So that's why you want the kick to guide you and keep your chest lifted. If you hinge at the waist and very little kick, then you're not creating a back bend. Last couple breaths. Go a little deeper. And release. Take a breath. Second set, not as long, so try to go into it. Those last couple breaths you took, try to go straight into that and hold. So grabbing the outside or inside of your right ankle, inhale the left arm up, and exhale, kick. If you fall out, just come back into it. Balance is not static. It's a dynamic process. So we all ride these waves of balance here. Even somebody who looks perfectly stable. So last breath here. And release. Left elbow in, reaching back for your grip. Inhale, reach the right arm up, and exhale, kick. Last breath. And release. Take a breath. Good. We'll meet at the back of our mat, setting up for Salutations, balancing stick. Inhale your arms up, interlace your fingers, release your index fingers, glue your biceps to the ears. Exhale, giant step with your right foot forward. Body comes down, left leg, point, lock, and lift. Pigeon toe that back foot to help roll the left hip down, keeping it in line here, hips level, in line with the right hip. Reaching in opposite directions, try to bring that chest down a little more, keep the arms up, lift that left leg up, and then release, step it back. Keep your arms up, keep that heart rate up. Inhale, exhale, step forward with the left foot, body down, leg up. It's a quick posture, but you can already feel really gets that heart rate up. Heart is pumping. This friend sends a fresh surge of oxygen to the heart and lungs. Reach and then step it back. Exhale, arms your side. Take a breath. We'll do a second set, and I'm just going to give you a breath count. So once you come down into it and you find your balance, you're going to take 3 breaths before releasing. So inhale, reach the arms up, find that same grip. Exhale, step forward, come down, 3 breaths. And then we'll step back, keeping the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, left foot. 3 breaths. Really keep the arms active. Reach in opposite directions with your entire body here. And step it back. Exhale, arms down to your side. Take a breath. We'll take a quarter turn towards the left side of our mat. Inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, giant step out to the right. Setting up for wide leg stretch. So heels are right below our wrists, toes slightly inward. Take an inhale, lengthen, exhale. Keep that belly drawn in, spine nice and long as you hinge at the waist and come down for your forward fold. Goal is to try to grab the outside of your heels. If you can't get there, grab your ankles or your calves. And then with your grip, nice big inhale, lengthen, straight spine here. Exhale, use your grip to fold. Pull with your grip. Weight is forward in the feet. If you have your hands below your heels, if you're able to get that grip, it helps get your weight forward in the feet. Otherwise, you might have to consciously shift the weight forward. You don't want it back in the heels. Goal is to one day get your head down to the mat. So you really have to allow yourself to shift the weight forward. It'll never happen if your weight's back in your heels. Keep the belly engaged. And then we'll slowly come up halfway, release your grip, and you can bring your arms out to a T and inhale all the way up to standing. Turn your right toes towards the front of your mat. Make sure your heels are in the same line here. Bend into that right leg, coming into a warrior 2, setting up for our triangle, Trikonasana, the pinnacle posture here in this sequence. Flip your palms, rotate your arms, coming down into triangle with a really low lunge or as low as you can. So if you don't have a very low lunge, then your fingers are not touching your toes. One day you have such a low lunge that fingers come to touch between the first and second toes. But you want to keep your torso lifted and space between both sides there at the bottom of your ribs and the top of your hips. You don't want to bend at the waist as you come down. Last couple of breaths, stick with it. And then inhale, come up, turn your right toes in and left toes towards the back of your mat. So making sure heels are in the same line there on your mat. Bend down deep into that left leg and then flip your palms, rotate your arms. Think about pressing your hips a little more forward and bringing your shoulders back a little more so you're straight, you're flattened out from the side. Right arm is very strong. Arms are reaching in opposite directions. Strengthen that back leg, really push into that back foot, maybe even energetically drawing the heels towards one another on your mat to activate your inner thighs. Last couple breaths. Inhale, come up. Turn the left toes in. We're going to go straight into that second set of forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Hinge forward. You want a nice long spine coming down. Find your grip. Then inhale with your grip. Exhale. Fold a little deeper. Stick with that breath. Inhale, partway up and release your grip. Exhale, bring your arms out to a T, and inhale all the way up. Second set of Trikonasana. Turn the right toes towards the front. Bend into that leg. Flip your palms. Rotate your arms. Take 4 breaths. Inhale, come up. Turn your right toes in, left toes towards the back. Bend into that leg. Flip your palms, rotate your arms. 4 breaths. Inhale up. Turn the left toes in, and then we'll inhale. Right foot meets the left, reach the arms up. Exhale, arms down to your side. Take a quarter, turn back to the front of your mat. Separate leg, forehead to knee. You'll step your right foot about halfway down your mat and turn the back foot. So we've got about 3 or 4 feet between our heels. We want our hips squared to the front. So if you need to step that back foot out a little wider to get there, that's fine. Make sure you don't collapse in that inner arch on the back foot. Press into the outer edge of that foot. Inhale, reach the arms up. Palms press together across the thumbs. Exhale, chin to chest. Round yourself over that front leg. Bend into the knee as much as you need to. Forehead to knee connection here. Separate the hands if you need help with balance, but keep the arms out in front of that foot as much as you can. Keep your left hip bumped forward, pulling that right hip back so hips stay squared. Last breath. If hands are separated, bring them back together in prayer. Press into the front foot. Round yourself back up. Stepping right foot back, left foot forward. Setting up here. Bump that right hip forward. Square up the hips. Inhale, lift, lengthen, exhale. Chin to chest. Round the shoulders and upper back. Round the whole spine over that front leg. Pull the belly in tight. Bend the knee as much as you need to. Forehead to knee. Breathing's difficult here with the chin tucked. So little sips of air is normal. Last breath. Hands together if they're separated, and round yourself back up. Step the right foot forward now, and exhale, arms down to your side. Take a breath here. We're going to slow the heart rate down with tree preparing to come down to our mat here shortly. So shift the weight to your left foot and bring your right knee straight up. You're going to rotate from the hip to bring that foot to the inside of your left hip flexor. But if that feels funky on the knee at all, modify, just bring your foot to the inside of that left leg. Otherwise, you're holding your right foot underneath with the left hand like a bicep curl. If that right knee needs support, you could have the right hand on that knee. Otherwise, drop it and bring right hand to heart center. Inhaling, lifting, lengthening, lightening, and exhale, rooting down. Strong left leg here. If you have your foot up into that hip crease and your leg is in half lotus, then you can start to bend the standing leg and hinge forward, feeling a bigger stretch there in your right hip. If you're able, you can reach down, hands on the mat for support, start to bend into that left leg and take a seat on your left heel. Try to work your upper body back over the hips. Tighten the belly, lift the chest, stack the shoulders over the hips, and press your knees towards the mat. Then maybe playing around here with your balance. If your leg's not in half lotus, you'll just stay there in tree. Toe stands, rise, and we'll meet in tree. And release. Pop your knee back in place. All right, other side. Right foot plants, bring that left knee straight up. So you lock it in place. It's not going to twist. You rotate from the hip only to get that foot into the hip crease, or take whatever modification you took on the other side. We're trying to relax that left hip flexor. You might find it helpful to sort of engage that left glute. Think about letting that knee drop towards the mat. You don't want to tilt the pelvis forward either to get there. Keep that tailbone slightly tucked. And then if that leg is in half lotus, move into your toe stand. If you're modifying and you would like the benefits of toe stand, you can come down now into a double toe stand. So you would just have both feet on the ground, heels lifted, sitting on the heels, legs together, still trying to keep the chest lifted, shoulders over the hips, press the knees down, trying to get the thighs parallel to the mat. And you can bring hands to heart center. So then you're still getting the benefits of working those tiny muscles in the feet that always need a little help, and in the ankles, and working on a little balance challenge here as well. And then we'll all rise back up. And we'll take a few cleansing breaths here before we come down onto our mat. So inhale, circle sweep up the arms. Fill the lungs. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Last one. Big, slow inhale. Exhale. Good. Go ahead and lie down on your back. Head towards the front of your mat. Take 5 breaths here in just a very brief mid-Shavasana, keeping the eyes open. Inhale your right knee in and interlace all 10 fingers around the knee, pulling it in towards your right shoulder. Trying to keep everything relaxed except for that grip and your biceps, working to pull that knee in tightly towards the right shoulder. So feet are relaxed unless you're having trouble keeping that left leg straight, then you might want to flex that left foot to help straighten it out along your mat a little more. One more deep breath. Release that right leg long on the mat. And then inhale the left knee in, pulling that knee in towards the left shoulder. Trying to have everything relaxed. Your chin is tucked, so you're trying to lengthen the spine out along the mat. Utkatasana, helping to improve our digestive system here. Last breath. Release that leg.
We'll bring both knees in and give ourselves a big hug. You're trying to grab opposite elbows around the knees here if you can, but if not, you want to grab forearms or wrists or fingertips, or even one knee in each hand. You want to keep the feet uncrossed, chin tucked so spine is still lengthened along the mat. Head and shoulders stay on the mat. And we'll release the legs long. Bring your arms up overhead for a transitional sit up. So flex the feet. It's a big inhale to lengthen and sit up, and then a double exhale that sounds like through the teeth to grab for the feet. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale. Little forward fold here for a breath or two. And then we'll roll over onto our belly for our spinal strengthening postures. So setting up for Cobra first, we'll just do one set of Cobra. Hands are at push-up position, maybe a little closer to the rib cage or the waist, and chin to the mat. Zipper up the legs, press the tops of the feet into the mat, engage the quads, so kneecaps lift, and press your hip bones down into the mat. Exhale. Inhale, peel your chest up off the mat, pull the shoulders down the back, and adjust the hands if necessary so that your elbows are about a 90-degree angle. You're pinching the elbows towards each other behind you to really stretch through the chest and open the chest, looking up slightly, driving the low body down to lift up just a little more. And then we'll bring our right ear to the mat, arms to our side, take a breath. Chin to the mat for half locust. You're going to roll your arms underneath you, palms down into the mat here. Fingers spread wide. Nice connection here with the shoulders and chest on the mat. We'll relax the left leg and inhale that right leg up. Keeping both hip bones down on the wrists or forearms. We don't want to roll our right hip up to lift that leg. Let's pulse for 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Shake it out. Relax that right leg now and inhale the left leg up. Actively lifting that leg and pointing it back. And pulse for 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Face will come down now to protect your neck as you prepare to bring both legs up at the same time. You can walk your hands a little closer to your knees or walk your knees a little closer to your hands. So we're going to lift both legs at the same time. It's helpful to use your momentum to get them up. Exhale. Inhale. Lift those legs up. As you do, you're rolling the weight forward into your shoulders and into your upper arms. You're straightening the legs, pointing the toes back, squeezing the legs together. Lift them up a little higher and release. And roll your arms out from underneath you. Bring your left ear to the mat. Arms out like airplane wings, chin to the mat for full locust. So now we're ready to lift both upper body and lower body at the same time. Legs together, legs straight. Exhale. Inhale, lift it all up, flying forward with the heart center, fingers glued together, arms are active. Lift that chest and shoulders a little more. Heels lift in line with the shoulders. And release right ear to the mat. Chin to the mat for second set. You can keep your arms out like airplane wings if you'd like, or take a grip behind you for shoulder rinse with this set. Exhale. Inhale. Lift everything up. You're really trying to keep the legs together and straight. Unless it really hurts your low back, it's okay to separate the feet hip width apart. But we're trying to build strength, and you do that by squeezing the legs together, lifting everything high, and then release left ear to the mat. Just one set of floor bow
So bend your knees, reach back for the outside of your feet, just below your toes, and try to work those knees back towards one another. They don't have to be touching, but try to get them a little closer because they will splay out once you kick. So press your hip bones down, exhale, and then inhale, kick into your grip. That kick pulls you up. You'll rock forward onto the soft part of your belly. Looking up, try to relax the shoulders as you kick higher and release. Pressing yourself back up to a seat in the middle of your mat. So setting up for fixed firm, if anybody needs to grab a block or a blanket here to modify, we want to separate our feet behind us, toes pointed straight back, and begin to sink the hips down towards the mat. If your hips aren't touching the mat, you might like to sit on something. If knees are hurting, you can separate the knees. You could even put a blanket between behind your knees there. You're going to lean back into it. If your hips are down, then you're trying to come down onto elbows next. Tuck the tailbone under so you feel a nice stretch in the quads. And then eventually coming down onto your shoulders, grabbing opposite elbows above you. Then finally working knees back to touch if that feels okay on your knees. Just be very mindful here in this posture. Creates a lot of tension for a lot of people, maybe in your ankles or your knees or your hips. So stop wherever you need to stop. Breathe into that tension. Make sure there's no pain, no sharp pains. Last breath. And then you'll slowly come out, same way you went in, maybe one elbow at a time, one hand at a time. Come to a seat on your heels with your legs together for half tortoise, Artichandrasana. Inhale your arms up, palms pressed together across the thumbs. Try to pull the arms back as much as you can. And then you'll exhale, come down slowly, getting the forehead down to the mat. And just the knife edge of the pinkies. Arms are very active here, straight out in front of you, so there should be no wrists or forearms on the mat. It's okay if your hips have to lift away from your heels to get your forehead down. But then we're trying to sink the hips as low as we can. We're lengthening our spine as much as we can, working on that shoulder flexibility here as well. Last breath. And then on your inhale, engage your core, come up, keep those arms strong, try to keep the hips down. And then exhale, release your arms to your side. Take a breath. Then we'll meet up on our knees hip width apart for camel. Just one set of camel. Hands to the low back here. Pinch the elbows towards one another, opening the chest. Inhale, look up. Lift the chest. Exhale, round back. Look back. Maybe you can reach for your heels. Hands to the low back for support. Come up gently, slowly. Take a seat on your heels. Bring your knees back together. Hands will slide down to cup your heels. You'll tuck your chin to your chest and round forward, trying to place your forehead on your knees for rabbit, or get them as close to your knees as possible. Then really cup your heels. Inhale, lift your hips up, trying to keep your forehead connected to your knees or as close to it as possible. Pull the belly in. Pull on that grip. Big stretch along the back of your spine. And slowly rise back up. We'll take a seat on our mat. Right leg out, left foot in, Janu Shavasana. Inhale. Reach for that foot. So bend the knee as much as you need to. We're going to do forehead to knee connection. With your grip, then inhale, lengthen, exhale, chin to chest, round forward. So if that leg is straight as you're getting your forehead to knee, here's your opportunity to practice what you would be doing in the standing posture, where you have your grip under your foot, you're bending your elbows around that calf,
and rounding your spine, keeping that left shoulder down. If the knee is bent, that's fine. You want to keep that knee, forehead to knee connection. This is more about the compression here than it is about the stretch. So you want that forehead to knee connection, even if it means bending the knee. Let's inhale, come up.
And switch our legs, left leg out, right foot in. And then reach for the foot, bending the knee if you need to. Find your grip. Basket weave with the hands under the foot. Inhale, lengthen.
Exhale, round over that leg. Inhale up.
We'll bring both legs straight out in front of us and walk your hips back under you. So you're leaning forward a bit. Again, bend the knees if you need to. You're going to grab your big toes with your two peace fingers here. Inhale, lengthen up out of the hips. Exhale, we're keeping the spine long instead of rounding as we come down. So hinging at the waist, trying to reach the chest forward towards the toes as you fold. Try to keep the feet flexed and flat. So don't allow the inside of the feet to come back in towards you. Last breath. Inhale up. Moving into our twist, bring that left leg under and cross your right ankle over the left knee. You can keep that bottom leg straight if you need to keep your hips down. Right hand behind you to help you sit up. Inhale, the left arm lifts. Exhale, come into your twist. Try to hook that arm on the outside of your right leg, rotating the arm inward, thumb towards the ground to try to grab for the knee in front of you. You're taking your gaze all the way around that right shoulder as much as you can, even if it's just with your eyes. Keep your belly engaged, spine nice and long. Last breath. And release. Switching. So right leg under, whether it's straight or bent, and left ankle crosses over and touches that right knee. Left hand behind you, like a kickstand. Sit up really tall. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, twist. Try to hook your arm. Try to grab your knee in front of you. Taking the gaze all the way over that left shoulder. Last breath. And release. Sit on your heels if you can, or just crisscross is fine. We'll end with one set of Kapalabhati breath. And this can also be done in and out through the nose if you'd prefer. We typically do it. It's a big inhale to start and then quick, forceful exhales. The inhales just take care of themselves, snap the belly in and out. But you can also do this in and out through the nose. So your choice if you need to be kind of quiet, if you still have family sleeping in your house. So sit up nice and tall, shoulders down the back. And we'll take a big inhale to fill the lungs and begin. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down into Shavasana, lying down on your back. And just observing how you feel after flooding the body with fresh oxygen in Kapalabhati. You might not feel the need to breathe for a little while, or maybe that breath is very shallow. Just relax the breath and notice it. Melt yourself down into the mat and enjoy a nice long Shavasana this morning. Have a great day. Namaste.